We have now reached the point where we can export a drawing, do a batch plot of drawings, or e-transmit drawings. So we're going to go over all three of these, which are similar, and yet they're different. So they go kind of for whatever happens to be the case that you're in with your drawings. And I am starting with the last time we went through this little bedroom where we created the A size, the B size, the C size sheet, and the D size sheet. So let's say that we needed to send basically either one of these or all of these to maybe a client or to maybe someone who needs to actually see those drawings, but they don't need to actually have the drawing file. They just need maybe a PDF. That is where the export drawings comes in handy. One place you can find it is right here under the Output tab. So it's this command right here. And the other place you can find that is actually under the big A under Export. So notice PDF is an option here. Let me show you both because they're slightly different. So if I went here to create a set of PDF files, this comes up and it immediately wants to know, okay, where do you want to save it? So you find in your browser where you would like to save it. And then you have these options over here on the side. One is, do I want it for general documentation, or do I want a high quality print, or maybe the smallest file? Maybe it's a really big file with lots of sheets. Do I want to send it through maybe a PDF that can be shown on the web, or do I just want basically the drawing to PDF? General documentation is usually what I select. And then you do have options here where you can select the vector quality and the raster image quality, basically to say how much quality do you want. I usually don't bother with unchecking any of these down here. It's just included. So that's the options. Another one is, do you want to see it when it's done? Do you want to include a plot stamp if you have one? The precision, you can check manufacturing, architecture, or civil engineering. So yes, most of the time I check architecture. And then this one is very important to notice where it says export. Do you want it to be all the layouts that you have included in your file, which for this case would be all four of these layouts that I have? Or do I just want to send them the current layout? So basically you have either one choice, which is whatever layout you're on, or all of them. That's the only choice you have. And then once you select that, you hit save. I'm not going to hit save right now. Another way to do that is from, like I said, the output tab. And it kind of has the same information. At the top, you decide if you want to send all of the layouts, or when you click here, you can just select the current, just like with the other way under the big A. So either the one you're on or all of them. So if I wanted all of them, I would just keep it there. And then your options on how great a quality you want is under this tab right here, which is basically those vector quality and raster image qualities that you want along with these images, or these options, I'm sorry, down there. Then all you would have to do is go to the Export tab and hit PDF. As soon as you do that, it basically brings you to the same thing, but you've already gone through whether you want all or just one. But this is another way to double check that. And then you just select where you want to send it and you hit save. Now I already have this one, but let's say I wanted to replace it. Once I hit yes, it kind of blinks and jabbers at you, and then it brings up exactly what the PDFs are going to look like. I love doing this before I send it to somebody because I can see if maybe is there a mistake? Is there something I need to correct? Like for this page, I have both of those options for the furniture and the door showing. So I would want to go back into the drawing and maybe just show one of those. But I can scroll down here where I can click down and I can see my second page, I can see my third page, and I can see my fourth page. Now remember, your viewport layer, the box around these, isn't showing. It's on no plot. So they look cleaner without that box around them rather than when you were just looking at the drawings themselves. So that's just another thing to keep in mind is that box won't show when you're looking at your drawings. If you like it, you can send it now to somebody through an email. If you don't, you can go in and make those corrections. And here's that box just to remind you that that is my viewport and it's not showing. Okay, so that is to export your drawings as a PDF. Another way to do that is under the batch plot, which is also under the output tab at the top, but it's over here on the left. If I click batch plot, it looks a little different. The biggest difference is it brings up everything, including the model space. So I can pick and choose what I want and what I don't want. So it's not one or all. I can select. Maybe I just want them to see the B size and the C size for whatever reason. I can go in and say, okay, this one, and holding my control, I can select this one and I can select this one and I can say, nope, I don't want these. So I can go where the minus sign is, where it says remove sheets, and get rid of those. It's only going to print or create a PDF for those two sheets. Okay. At the top is the sheet list. We don't cover that in this class. So that would be in maybe an advanced class. Publish to, you have these basic options. And yes, most of the time I do a PDF. The same thing is here. Do I want it general? Do I want a high quality, the smallest, the web? So most of the time I pick the general, unless I'm, sending this to a printer that would go to maybe the building department or something. So I would want the highest quality. We have the same options for publishing right here. So it'll bring up the same box on what you can select here. The difference is you can check or uncheck the prompt for name. And yes, if you have multiple sheets, that would have to be checked. I'm going to hit cancel for that. And then down below, we have kind of the same things as well, except right here, it tells you the detail information. You can hide it or you can show it. And then the precision, yes, do I want it to be architectural? Of course I do. And then that plot stamp and publish in the background and open in viewer when done. So if I want to see what it's going to look like when it's done, just like I did for the other one, I would want to check that. If I want it to publish in the background and keep on working while it doesn't bother me, I can have that checked. Then when I hit publish, it basically does the same thing. It says, okay, where do you want to send it? So let's say that, well, let's see. Let's just pick a general location, like maybe right on my desktop. I could give it a name. I say select. Then it says, do I want to save the current list of sheets? That's this at the top that I said we don't cover in this class. So you would probably want to hit no. And then it publishes in the background. It tells you that it's doing that. And if you look down here in the corner, you see this little printer with little paper coming out of it. That's showing you that it's still publishing in the background. So then I could hit close. Then I can just keep working either on this drawing or on another drawing because it's publishing. It's printing that PDF for me. And yes, this one for some reason takes a little longer than the first one that kind of blinked at you a few times and then popped it up on the screen. So while that one's thinking about publishing, ooh, it said it's now complete. I can view for any details if I want, but it's basically ready for it to be sent to somebody. The last one that I want to show you is what they call e-transmit. And the biggest difference between that one and these two I just showed you is this is if you actually want to send somebody the drawing file, which means they have to have AutoCAD in order to see it. That one is located under the big A, and you have to go down to Publish. And then you'll see e-transmit right here in the middle. So when I click that, it says, well, it always brings this up. Do you want to save? Because you haven't saved in a while. Yeah, it's usually good to just hit yes. I'm going to hit no because I just saved it. But it brings up this box. Now you can look at the current drawings in either a files tree or a files table. It's the same information. It's just a matter of how do you want to look at it. So looking at the tree one, it will send the drawing file, which is open right now, but it tells me what else will be included, like the JPEG file. So this is everything that would be included in the actual drawing. Yes, I do want that logo to show. Yes, I want my plot style table to show, the plot configuration to show, my external references, because if that isn't sent, this little drawing of the floor plans will not come with it. It'll be blank. They won't see it at all. Another thing that you can actually do is you can include notes down here. Like I could say, please notice the changes to the bathroom. And then you can actually view the report before you sent it. So viewing the report, it gives you all the details about it, including the notes. So there's my notes to someone on the other end to receive it, but it tells me exactly what's included, all the information in detail, and notice the fonts are also sent. So it doesn't get converted to a simplex font, which is what happens if the fonts aren't there, especially if it's a weird font that maybe was given to you by somebody else. It includes the plot styles, it includes the conversion, the external referencing, the raster images, everything is included, which is wonderful because then you don't have to worry if you forgot to send something with the file, which is why you're going to be doing this for your final project. So I can get everything that is needed for me to grade it. But remember, this is to actually send a drawing. So they're not going to get a print. They're going to get the drawing and they have to have AutoCAD to open it up. The same thing here. I basically hit OK, and then it says, where do you want to save it on your computer and what name do you want to give it? Notice also that it creates a zip file. So it sends everything as a zip file to the other end and they get a nice little package. I'm going to hit cancel because we don't need to create one for this. But now you know how to print in two different ways as well as to e-transmit. So I hope this helps you to be able to send your drawings or prints to someone else and have fun with your assignment.